Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Rolling Elbow 360 YouTube channel, and welcome back to our TNA in 2016 save here in TEW 9. We are coming off last episode, which was the backlash of our Destination X pay-per-view. Of course, our Destination X pay-per-view did not go as well as we wanted it to. We had some good matches, like the Final Deletion we had, and Davey Richards and D'Angelo De Niro, a random match I just threw on the card, was the best of the show. But we also had some big stuff going on there. We had the signing of Christian. We had Nick Aldis stealing a win from Drew Galloway. Lashley beating Eddie Edwards for the TNA World, to retain the TNA World Championship, leaving Eddie Edwards with nothing, no X Division title, and no TNA World title, obviously. We had some other cool stuff that we will cover as we kind of go on from here. But just looking at Impact, last time, because of the loss at Destination X, we've seen kind of a more edgier side of Eddie Edwards. We've seen Eli Drake, who beat Bram and Braxton Sutter for the television title. We've seen him kind of bragging in Crimson's face. We've seen Lashley not too happy about James Storm coming up and challenging him. We saw down here at the bottom, we saw Christian debut, and Mike Bennett give him a swift low blow in the gonads. We've seen broken Matt Hardy running amok and Rhino kind of trashing him a little bit. We've seen all this stuff. We've seen Galloway calling out Aldis to him not answering. We've seen all that and plenty more. But now it's time for us to get into our next show, and let's jump right into it. We start off with a 68 rated segment here in our world title picture, where we see James Storm in the back. And he goes up to Jeff Jarrett and he says, "Where is MVP? Where is Lashley? I want him right now." And Jarrett says, "Funny enough, they're actually in the ring right now about to cut a promo." And so James Storm bolts out here. He bolts to on screen where Lashley and MVP are, and he runs into the ring, and it's obvious. You know what's about to happen. It's about to be on MVP and Lashley versus James Storm. And here we go. It's about to happen when Jeff Jarrett says, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa. I didn't tell you where they were so you could come out on my TV show and cause chaos. No, thank you." And MVP and Lashley are flapping their gums, and they're saying, yeah, it's Storm. We got you last week, but you can't touch us. Jeff, get him out of here. He's not even worthy of a title shot. And Jarrett says, "Oh, you get to make the matches now, huh, MVP? You decide who gets world title shots, don't you? You think you're big man on campus. Well, let me tell you something. You're not. Let me tell you something. Make the matches here," is what Jeff Jarrett says. And he says, "Since you want to flap your gums so much, we'll see you in the main event tonight, MVP. No, Lashley can't protect you tonight. You want to run your mouth? We'll see you in the main event against Drew Galloway." And so there is the main event. The main event is set. Drew Galloway versus MVP tonight. And so our storyline gained heat. 68 rated. Pretty good. So that's cool. What was the angle? Got the crowd hotter. I should have ran a dark match. Oh, well. We move on from that to seeing the returning Mike Bennett defeat Bram in 12:08 by pinfall with a photo finish. I'm not sure what that move is. The story of this match is it's the return of Mike Bennett. He's coming in. Bram is still upset that he lost his television championship to Eli Drake. And Eli Drake comes out and he's running his mouth. "Yeah, Yeah, just coming out, doing all that. And all of a sudden, we see Braxton Sutter come in and smack Bram right in the face. Or, excuse me, smack Eli Drake right in the face. And they're brawling on the outside, beating each other up. And Christian Cage is on commentary, so that keeps that storyline going. This match lost heat to our Christian versus Mike Bennett storyline, but it gained heat for our television title storyline. 52 from Mike Bennett's pretty good. 48 from Bram. Bennett is actually less popular than Bram. I kind of ruined him at the beginning of the save because I had him lose a couple times to people he probably shouldn't have lost to, but it is what it is. What is this change? How many times have I done? Nah, we'll wait on that. So 56, it's not the best, but it's not the worst either. Any notes that I need to... He's inconsistent. Okay, cool. So let's keep going. After the match, Bennett grabs a mic and he says, "You see that, old man? You see that? Instant classic? That's how a miracle gets the job done. That's how a miracle does it. It's time for you to go back to the retirement line where you came from because me and the rest of Impact is good enough without you." And Maria's there. She's agging him on as well. And Christian says, "All right, well, I got something to say." Gets up from the commentary table, grabs a mic, and he says, "You say I belong in the unemployment line. You may be right, but I guess we'll find that out at the pay-per-view. But what I want to focus on is what you did last week in coming up from behind me and hitting me in my undesirables from behind. And in my generation, we had this thing called a receipt. And I'm not going to give it to you from behind. I'm going to give it to you from the front." And he slaps him in the face. Just a slap. And so Bennett is angry. He's pissed. Maria's freaking out. Bennett goes to throw a punch. And all of a sudden, Christian Cage ducks it, hits the ropes, spear, and leaves Mike Bennett laying. So a 64 gained heat for the storyline. That's good. Christian Cage is awesome. And so we continue on. Next, we see the Motor City Machine Guns walking into the building, and they say, "Decay, you attacked us at the pay-per-view after we won our contenders match. Last week, you won a match, and we were out there, and we wanted to fight you then, but security escorted us out. But tonight, no security's holding us back. You want to fight? Come and find us, and we'll fight." And so we leave it at that. 41, lost heat, not a great segment, but it is what it is. Next, we have this 3v3 match. This was mainly to get Chelsea Green over, if I'm completely honest. She is not too hot in this mod, but I'm working on that. So we saw D'Lo Brown, Sanjay Dutt, Chelsea Green versus Sienna, who is leaving us, by the way. Don't know if y'all know that. She is headed to the Fed. And Reno Scum, who was the best in the match? D'Lo Brown was. Nice. And then, Sanjay was, then D'Lo Brown. And then Luster and Chelsea Green was the worst, but she has the least amount of popularity of all these people, I'm pretty sure. So that makes sense. Cool. So yeah, and it was a place to put our storytelling match, so I didn't have to put it on an actual, I shouldn't say good match, but a match that, I want to be good. So there is that. 42 rated. Cool. Then we go backstage, and we see Eli Drake saying, "You're just going to let people run amok here? You're just going to let them beat up your champion, beat up your face of the television show that we're on right now? Yeah, dummy." Yeah, and Jarrett says, "Listen here, I ain't got time for you. You want revenge? Next week, you got Braxton Sutter in a match." And Eli's like, whoa, that's not what, no, that's not what I asked for. And so 53 rated. And so we will see Eli Drake versus Braxton Sutter next week. Cool. Next, we have another one of these little hype videos that I'm trying where we see backstage Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards. And Eddie says, when I lost everything, I lost the X Division title. I lost the world title. I'm getting my X Division title back. I never lost it. I deserve to be the number one contender. Roderick Strong, you just declared yourself the number one contender after winning one match. I've been here for months. I never lost that X Division title, and I deserve a rematch. So tonight, I assume you're going to be out there after Zema Ion's match. I assume you're going to be out there staking your claim to be the number one contender. Well, guess what? I'll be out there too, and so will Davey. And he walks off all angry with this furious side coming out of Eddie. And Davey comes to the mic and he says, Roddy, me and you are very good friends. We are very good friends. We've traveled the roads together, but that's my brother. And last week, you sick-kicked and put your hands on my brother. And I hate to say it, I may not agree with his intentions. I may not agree with how he's going about this right now. But if you put your hands on him, you got to fight me too. So I'll see you out there tonight. And they walk off. And so obviously something is going to happen after Zema Ion's match here tonight. Zema Ion, the X Division champion. Something is going to happen with this crew here. So something's going to happen. 52, actually better than I expected. I did script this because these two aren't the greatest at promos. So I scripted it, and it actually seemed to have worked out pretty well. So cool. Next is a 50 rated match with Rhino defeating Chris Adonis in 742 by pinfall with a pile driver. This was a match to set up something later, but also to get Rhino a big victory. He's been kind of eating some pinfalls, and he lost to James Storm at the pay-per-view. So I'm trying to get him some wins. So a 50 is decent. 54 from Rhino. It's good enough. So cool. Next, we see Gail Kim and Mickie James coming out here talking about the attack last week from Tara, and we're going to say a masked female because I'm not a huge, how do I say this? Mercedes Martinez is kind of weird in this mod. She's a little older. She's not too great from what I've seen of her matches. I'm not sure I'm going to go with her like I originally thought I was going to. So I'm kind of just... So let's say it was a mass figure, because I may change my mind on that. So, but the story stays the same, even with Hamada and Jade. So it's okay. The story stays the same. So Gail Kim is out here saying, Tara, last week, you and your goons attacked us. We want answers. We want to know why you did what you did. Of course, Gail Kim being the Knockouts champion, Mickie James staking her claim to get a Knockouts championship match at a coming pay-per-view. And Tara's music hits and she comes out and she says, for too long, you two, you in the ring, have held down women's wrestling, have held back the Knockouts division because of your own selfishness, because of you guys wanting to have the spotlight and not allowing others around you to have it as well. And I'm putting an end to that. I am putting an end to that. I will be the one to bring about the next generation of Knockouts wrestling through you two by beating you down and ending your careers. Pretty big words. And Gail Kim says, we haven't held anybody back. And Mickie James agrees. We haven't held anybody back. We earned our spots here. We earned the multiple-time Knockouts titles that we have. We earned those. And if somebody wants to take them from us, let them take them. Of course, Hamada and Jade come out with them. And, you kind of see where we're going. This is going to be a tag match. So that's what they say. It just kind of ends there with Kim and Tara kind of going back and forth, and Hamada and James are there. And so you see the kind of the older guard, which Mickie James isn't old at this point, but Gail Kim to a certain extent is, and Tara is as well, and versus the new guard, Hamada and Jade. So there's that. 46, not the greatest, but cool nonetheless. Next, we just had a promo for Robbie E. and Jesse where they're just talking about, they're not great in matches. So I figured, let's see them at their strength and their strength got them a 43, which isn't great, but it's just the bromans. They're talking about how they're kind of floundering in the tag division right now. There's a lot of tag teams that are above them, and so they're looking to get back on track. Basically it. And then we have our X Division match. We see in a bout that had decent wrestling but little heat, Zema Ion defeats Tigre Uno in 7:48 by pinfall with a Filipino destroyer. So I made this a high spots match. Both guys did well, 54 and 53. And so we saw Roderick Strong was at ringside. The Wolves are not out here right now. They are not out here for this match, but Roderick Strong is, because of course he is. And it got a 58, which is pretty decent in my eyes. And then afterwards, Roderick is getting in the ring when the Wolves music hits. And here we go. It's all out chaos in the ring. And Davey is here and Eddie's ready to fight, and they all grab microphones. It's like, I'm the number one. They're all arguing. Roddy and Eddie especially. I'm the number one contender. No, y'all. Blah, blah, blah. Big smodge fest right now. And Jeff Jarrett comes out and says, I've had enough of the chaos tonight. You know what? You want to prove who's the number one contender? Fine. Next week, tag team match. And he just leaves. It doesn't settle who's the number one contender. He just says tag team match. That's it. It's going to be a tag team match. Roderick Strong and Zema Ion versus the American Wolves next week. So I should probably pre-book that so I don't forget about it. I will later. All right. Then we go backstage with Rhino sitting in his locker room, just kind of hanging out after his match. And a letter is dropped off for him. And it's one of those little, Vanguard letters. Like they did on TNA recently with the Nemeth brothers. He opens it and he says, and it's Matt Hardy. He says, Rhinoceros. That's probably what he would call him. You have called me a fool. You have insulted the Hardy name. And at Hard to Kill, I will delete you. And we will see the reincarnation of Brother Nero. Just setting up that match. Setting up the match between Hardy and Rhino at the pay-per-view, where we will also see the return of Brother Nero, a.k.a. Jeff Hardy. So a 55 is not too great here. I thought this would be better, but okay. Then we see Tyrus versus Shannon Moore. Tyrus wins by submission. What? This was also just a match to get Tyrus over 50. Whatever. Not really Tyrus over. Just to get Tyrus... whatever. Let's continue. And then we see the brawl between the Decay and the Motor City Machine Guns. They're fighting back and forth and just... blah. Everyone's fighting. Grr. And they're brawling and all, and they get separated. And that is the tag team title match at Hard to Kill. The Decay are the tag team champions. Motor City Machine Guns are the number one contenders. So, yeah. Then we see a hype video for Brian Cage. Nothing crazy, just getting him over. And then we see a tag team match. The Concrete Outlaws defeating the North when Homicide pinned Josh Alexander with a Gringo Killer. Homicide was the best in match. So Coolio, 49 is a little low, if I'm honest, but it is what it is. Next segment, we see Drew Galloway is out here, and he's out here for his main event match tonight. And he's saying, Aldis, you stole a victory from me. I am coming for you still. I want to fight you. Like Drew Galloway does. He cuts that Drew Galloway promo. I want to fight you. I want to beat you down. We are not done. And Aldis comes out and he says, that's where you're wrong, Galloway. We are done. We are finished. I don't care how many times you claim on me in main event matches. Last week you made me lose to Broken Matt Hardy, that weirdo, because you had to stick your nose in my business. And, he's just going back and forth with him. He says, we're done. I'm not fighting you again. I'm not wrestling you again. It's over. I beat you. And Galloway is like, well, hey, and Nick Aldis is like, now I deserve a world title shot. I deserve to be placed as Bobby Lashley's next opponent. And so, well, Galloway says, well, I'm about to face his manager. He'll be right here. Why don't you stick around and tell him yourself? And Aldis says, I've got better things to do than hang out here and wait for your match to end. And with Lashley's manager. And he says, but here, I'll make a bargain with you. I'll have Spud stay out here. Spud, you stay out here. You watch Mr. Galloway's match and tell me how it goes. And so 63, pretty good. Pretty happy with that. And we move into the main event with a 68. Hey, okay. Drew Galloway defeats MVP in 14:52 by pinfall with a future shock after distraction from James Storm. So the distraction from James Storm is similar to the one from earlier in the night. Lashley's at ringside. James Storm sees his chance to get the jump on Lashley and comes out and hits him, and they start brawling and whatever. So Spud's out here too, but Drew Galloway gets the victory and walks out with his hand raised and maybe pushes Spud over or something like that in the end. But a 68 is pretty good. 61 from Galloway, a 63 from MVP. I'm pretty happy with that. And we move on to our end segment, where we see Lashley and Storm brawling around the arena, eventually making it back to the ring where MVP is coming to after his loss to Galloway, and he smacks James Storm on the back, puts him out, lays him out, and he says, James Storm, you are a thorn in my side right now. You know what? If you want a world title match this badly, next week, show up with your working boots, an opponent of Lashley's choosing, and we'll have you in a number one contenders match. If you beat an opponent of Lashley's choosing next week, you got your match at Hard to Kill. So there we go. 68 rated. Lashley and MVP standing tall to end the night, and we finish the show with a 65. I'm pretty happy with that. So I wouldn't say we had that standout angle tonight. You know, we had some 60s, many 50s, and some 40s and 30 and a 30 as well. But I wouldn't say we had that huge standout angle tonight. Everyone's doing great. Everyone's really hitting, and I think we're doing decently right now. 65. We're gaining popularity. Now we need to see if we're gaining money, but we will do that after we book and play through Explosion. So I will see you in just a second. All right, and we are back for Explosion. In between Explosion taping and Impact, a little weird. I know I'm doing this probably a little off kilter. I probably should do it the other way around. I did some dark matches, so we will run through those, and then we will get into the main show. So let's jump right into it. We had a 5-way match just to see. There's some local guys in here. AR Fox, Corey Hollis, Kendrick is one of ours, Sutter is one of ours, and O'Shea is one of ours. And we were just trying to see how these guys do. Brian Kendrick was the best in the match, followed by Aiden O'Shea, shockingly. So there's that. And yeah, 42, pretty decent. Next match, we did a 4-way with our women. Evie Jordan Grace did very well. Shayna Baszler got a 40, and Marty Bell sucks. So nice. Who won? Marty Bell with a 22 gets the victory. What? Yeah, that's no good. So Jordan Grace, next knockout. Moving on, we did a 10-man tag. Basically, I was just trying to get everyone on this show for the most part. Crimson was the best. Crimson is absolutely amazing. If I could get him popular enough, he would be on in main event not main event storylines, but main show storylines. I would love to get him involved in that. Who else did well that sticks out? Brian Myers, 44. It's kind of it. 38 from Andrew Everett. So, cool. Then we had Jamin Olivencia. I know he was somebody who worked in GFW. I was just going to kind of give him a chance. 38 promos, not bad, especially with his popularity. But I gave him a match right after that with Mandrews. He got a 38. That's not bad. 39 from Mark Andrews. Excuse me. It's so hard for me not to say Mandrews with just how much TNA pushed that for so long. So yeah. So pretty cool there. Jamin may be somebody we add to the roster, but I may change that last name. Someone in the comments tell me how you say it. Is it Olivencia? Is that it? Olivencia? Olivencia? I don't know. Please, someone educate me in the comments. But he won with an O drop, got a 40, not bad. Let's see. And then one last pre-show match we did. Oh, no, this is not a pre-show match. This is main card. On this show, we're doing unimportant versus unimportant. Now, I've had B shows, and I don't know why this is, but I feel like I've had B shows before where they don't care if you have unimportance versus unimportance. But this one does. So I don't know if I need to change something about the product of the show or what. But for tonight, we're not going to. And so I'm still just putting unimportance versus unimportance. This is for, whatever. So we had the Von Erichs versus Reno Scum. Basically, the thing of this match is the Von Erichs get a flash win. It's kind of unexpected. They pull some sort of trickery or something, I don't know. And they get the victory over Reno Scum, who came in very confident. So 46 from Ross is pretty good. 31. Then we had Crimson cut a promo. A 44 is very good for him as well. We had Kingston beating Peter Avalon, who is also somebody from the outside who's a local worker. So he got a 51. Wow. That's pretty good. Also to unimportance, but we're trying to get Kingston up, especially with this pairing with the Concrete Outlaws. So 31. Then Davina Fly is cutting a promo backstage when Shayna Baszler comes in and is like, "Sup?" And Davina Fly's like, "Watch where you're walking." And Baszler's like, "What are you going to do about it? I will literally kill you. You will die. I will choke you and you will die." So that got a 32. Great segment. This is reverse order. Kingston cut a promo, 43, very good. Then we had Manic, the real life TJP, defeat QT Marshall with a jumping neck breaker. And we had Suicide come out during the match. So after what? What is this? Oh, I'm turning Suicide face. How many? Yeah, go ahead. Cool. So then Suicide's like, what the? Like, he's like doing like the mirror spot. I know this is stupid, but it's a funny storyline for me. And it's probably going to lead to a tag team. So they're doing like the mirror spot where it's like, how are you here? But you're me. And they're just, we're going to run with this for a little while on Explosion. No one watches Explosion, so it's okay. It's okay for us to do this. So that got a 35. Then a 10 rated. A 10 rated. A 10 rated. A 10 rated Austin Theory versus Brian Cage match. Holy cow. Brian Cage gets the victory. And then afterwards, we get a 50. Praise God. The crowd is dead. Oh gosh. With Brian Cage and Taz cutting a promo, hyping him up. And then we get a D'Angelo De Niro promo. And then him and Timothy Thatcher wrestle. But the crowd is dead, so who cares? That got a 50 as well. So that is our episode of Explosion. It's a 47. Our network is going to be A-okay with that. I just hope we don't lose popularity for some of these people with how bad their matches are. So money, we only lost $600. That's kind of shocking. But we gained popularity especially in New England and Northwest. So that's good. So yeah, that was a pretty good. Is that Brody King? Huh. Okay. So whatever. That threw me off. That never happened. But that was a pretty good episode, I would say. Pretty good episode of Explosion, I would say. Now let's see. Did that? Okay, the main person I'm worried about here is Brian Cage. That did lose him popularity. Fart. Oh, dang it. Ugh, did that lose Taz popularity too? I mean, no. Okay, he wasn't in the match. That sucks. I need to figure out how to not have that happen. Uh, is there like a okay explosion? Let me edit. Let me edit explosion. Why are you not letting me edit explosion? Okay. Is there? I don't know. Is there like a way that I can, edit this? Can I make it like a lesser show or something? Like the purpose of it being a lesser show, so that way, uh, just some way for me to not get penalized for, because I swear I've seen it before where that doesn't happen. Um, and I want that to happen for me because that'd be helpful. And so I can't put Brian Cage in another match for now because oh my gosh, I need to just have him beat somebody. Oh my word. So let's look at some progresses for some talent. Specifically, I need to look at you. You're still going down. I don't really care about that though. You're probably going up to a certain extent. Yeah, you are. Who else? Who else? Who else? You're off TV right now, so you're probably going down a little bit. And you lost to Matt Hardy. Your brother. You're good, I hope. I'm just checking out some popularities right now. You guys should be going up. Holy cow, you are. Did Drew went up from the main event win? That's good. MVP, did he go down? Yes, he did. It's okay, though. Anybody else get a big victory that might be starting to hit the upswing of going up? What about Roddy? Roddy's getting up there. Rhino, he's going back up from... Bennett's probably going back up. Yeah. Not to where he was, but, he's getting there. I think that might be everybody. So, cool. Let's look at our money for the month. Don't worry about this. It's because of whatever this is. I forget what I did. Oh, it was me canceling contracts. And I just cheated the money to myself. So we're losing money right now, mostly because of production and talent. So maybe we don't need to get everybody on every show. I have learned. But we're losing a bit of money right now. I'm sure our pay-per-view at the end of the month will help us with that, most likely. So maybe we just need to cut back on how many people we're using or something like that. But with that said, let's check our emails. Okay, cool. Oh, Jeff Jarrett does not like Mark Andrews or his psychology. And also, Chris Adonis needs to learn how to sell. Also, Paige was injured. Oh my gosh. Oh, she's only going to be out for a few weeks. How did our show do? We had this many viewers. That's pretty good, I think. So, if you're wondering why the Helms Dynasty hasn't been used more, Hurricane was signed with AAA and, just wasn't showing up. So I signed him to an exclusive deal. So now he should be here all the time, and I have plans for the Helms Dynasty. So, pretty cool. Love it. And I think that is all we have time for today. But thank you for joining us as we march on to Hard to Kill. It is going to be a wonderful time. Hard to Kill. We will see some cool matches. I think, let's make sure. Yes. No. Wait, what? I'm confused. Wait, why does it... Oh, okay. Why does it not have it? Okay, whatever. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Next time will be the go home show for Hard to Kill. Then we will see Hard to Kill, and then we will go from there. But I hope you are enjoying this series. It is a series I have enjoyed, and I know I have not been able to post for a while. There's a stereotype of TEW YouTubers that they go away and come back and go away and come back, and I am very much so guilty of that. When life gets difficult, when life kind of, just gets busy, this is the first thing I cut out. It's a hobby for me. It's not a job nor a thing like that. That's a priority to me, but I do love doing it, and I love just the support I've seen for this series, the amount of people that I've had reach out to me about this series, and just loving it and watching it. And so I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in and coming back and watching my content, and I appreciate you so much. But for today's video, that is going to be all. Peace.